devils of the interwebs, I'm Alexa, the resident ooky spooky girly, and today it's time to tackle the fascinating horrors behind escape rooms. Now, I've only done 2 rooms in my time, the first being a really fun Alice in Wonderland themed experience, and recently a pirate ship mystery on an actual ship. Thankfully my team was lucky enough to escape both times, but I've never wondered about what would happen if we didn't. Question for y'all, if you've ever done escape rooms, could you let me know about your experience? I'm rather curious. On that note, here are the top 5 haunted escape rooms where you might disappear. Number 5, McKamey Manor. Alrighty, before someone yells at me, yes, this place does market themselves as a haunted house, or to quote the founder Russ, a survival horror performance house. But since they're currently offering 20 grand to anyone who can survive 10 hours of their games, I'm considering them eligible for today's list. Granted, if you curse or fail a challenge, $500 gets removed each time. And I've also had a personal vendetta against them for about 10 years now, and that's about to come into play. So founder Russ McKamey, a former Navy seaman turned haunted attraction enthusiast, doesn't accept any kind of money for this unique experience. Payment is simply, a can or a bag of dog food. There is a screening process first. Participants must produce a doctor's note, sign a 40-page waiver, pass a background check and test, and be screened via FaceTime. A guide has testified that the 40-page waiver signed by participants lists possible risks, which include having teeth extracted, being tattooed, and having fingernails removed. If I didn't already hate the place enough, that does it for me. That's just unnecessary torment. It originally operated in San Diego, but neighbors petitioned to have it run out of the area due to the noise and unsafe attention it brought them, and were successful. There's a total of 3 locations now: Nashville, Tennessee, and Huntsville, Alabama. At the Tennessee location, guests must be 21 or older, or 18 to 20 with parental consent, while the Alabama location only allows ages 21 or up. The tour lasts from 8 to 10 hours, but no guest has made it all the way through. McKamey originally did not allow safe words for the tour, but has since reportedly allowed them, with guests having the option to use a safe word that ends the experience immediately. The house operates year-round, and there is allegedly a waiting list of over 24,000 people. I just want to know why. During the experience, employees of the manor may physically attack patrons, waterboard them, force them to eat and drink unknown substances, have them bound and gagged, and engage in other forms of physical and psychological anguish. I'm forgetting something. Don't remind me. Oh yeah, participants may also be during their experience. And hey, if that wasn't enough ick for anyone, make sure to smile for the camera while you're enduring this hell. Yeah, McKamey started filming everything that happened inside as an insurance policy, so he'd have proof of what really happened anytime law enforcement came knocking. Nowadays, each contestant's experience is live streamed to a Facebook audience of close to 30,000 people. If that's your idea of entertainment, there's a large archive of footage on the official website. So far, no one's been able to escape, and I'm pretty sure everyone leaves with some sort of imprint on their psyche, so big pass from me. Number 4, Eloise Asylum. Eloise Psychiatric Hospital was a large complex located in Westland, Michigan that operated from 1839 to early 1982. It started out as a poorhouse and farm. It eventually developed into an asylum, sanatorium, and hospital. It's had a lot of names over the years, so bear with me here. In 1832, it was called the Wayne County Poorhouse. In 1872, it was the Wayne County Almshouse, while in 1886, it was referred to simply as the Wayne County House. In 1913, there were 3 divisions: the Eloise Hospital, which housed the mental hospital, the Eloise Infirmary, or the poorhouse, and the Eloise Sanatorium, which housed patients with tuberculosis, and all 3 were collectively called Eloise. Oh, and that's not the end of the name changes. In 1945, it was named Wayne County General Hospital and Infirmary at Eloise, Michigan. By 1974, it had 2 divisions, separating the Wayne County Psychiatric Hospital from the General Hospital. In 1979, it was officially called Wayne County General Hospital, with the psychiatric division closing in 1982. In its heyday, Eloise was made up of 78 buildings on 902 acres with 10,000 patients along with 2,000 staff, serving as the largest psychiatric facility in the entire United States. Only the firehouse, power plant, commissary, and D buildings still stand as of July of 2023, as well as the cemetery. It had some good things back in the day, housing the first kidney dialysis unit in the state of Michigan and pioneering the use of music therapy. Staff also used hydrotherapy, shock therapy, and insulin therapy to treat patients. As years went on, the institution grew larger and larger, a reflection in the increases in the population of the Detroit area. From only 35 residents in 1839, the complex grew to, like I said, about 10,000 folks at its peak during the Great Depression. Now to talk about ghosties. My favorite part. Numerous typical poltergeist activities have been witnessed within the complex, with doors slamming and medical carts and tables being overturned. Generally speaking, there are shadow figures that seemingly drip from the ceilings and ooze from the walls of this place, becoming part of the building itself until they're one and the same. 2 ghostly little ones have been seen running through the paint-peeling walls of the hallways, turning a corner only to disappear. It's assumed they were inmates at the time Eloise was a poorhouse, where orphans often lived until they were adopted out or passed away. So these two possibly died in their youth, or maybe they relive their lives now without the fear they had when they were alive, carelessly playing games in a kind of purgatory. There's a mysterious lady that appears as a white vapor and has been seen manifesting within one of the buildings that still stand, and her voice has been recorded as she whispers, "Help me." Another ghost is that of a doctor, said to prowl the halls of the crumbling facility. Even in the afterlife, he searches for an unfortunate patient to practice his scientific methods. Some have reported seeing a specter drenched in water, possibly a reminder of when hydrotherapy was coming into practice. Other times the ghostie is seen wearing a smock stained in red, presumed to be from a lobotomy. Possibly he lingers here, tormented by the ghosts of the patients upon whom he practiced. Nowadays this building is home to two different escape rooms, one titled The Heist and the other is aptly called Escape the Asylum. If you feel like risking the wrath of the ghosts, that's on you. Number 3, 13 Sedah Avenue. This is the only Canadian entry on today's list, and apparently it's the scariest escape room in the entire Greater Toronto area. Time to tell if my courage will kick in and motivate me to go check it out. So rumor has it, everyone who's experienced this particular escape room has experienced some sort of paranormal activity, which could be my cup of tea as long as it doesn't involve a Ouija board or spirits that follow me home. So according to the website, it is described as a group daring to venture through an abandoned house turns into a horrifying nightmare when you quickly realize it's not abandoned at all. So it's just a sick game, and you are the main attraction. You'll have to work together and overcome all the challenges. Watch out, not all groups make it out together. Now here's the haunted element. Some parts of the internet have listed it as running. Well, the official website changes depending on the day, on if it's still existing or not. Try and register if you dare. Who knows if you'll live to tell the tale. Number 2, Franklin County Historic Jail. Allegedly, the old Franklin County Jail is one of the most haunted locations in south central Pennsylvania and once housed quite the notorious prisoner. 1920s gangster Charlie Berger was held at the Franklin County Jail from June of 1927 to April of 1928, where he went the way of the rope necklace for the death of Joe Adams along with a plethora of other crimes. While he isn't the only ghostie that likes to hang out at the jail, apparently he can be spotted skulking around where he met the end of his time. Overall activity that has been reported includes shadows, mysterious noises, disembodied moans, being physically touched, and feelings of tension in certain areas. Time for a history lesson though. In the early 1700s, the land that would become Franklin County was settled and traveled by Native Americans, including the Iroquois, the Lenape, and the Shawnee. Treaties resulted in the land being settled by the English after the French and Indian War. In 1818, the Franklin County Jail was constructed to house criminals and those condemned to the gallows. The basement was used as a dungeon, where the condemned were often shackled, physically punished, or killed prior to their date with the noose in the courtyard. In 1862, as the nearby shops were all burned, the Franklin Jail remained untouched. The jail escaped damage again when Confederate General Robert E. Lee and 70,000 soldiers took up residence nearby, and once again in 1864, as a significant portion of Chambersburg was burned, the jail remained unscathed. If I had a nickel for everything I just thought was mighty suspicious, I'd have 2 nickels, which isn't a lot, but it's weird that it happened twice. At least 7 known souls met their end at the gallows, and many more were subjected to inhumane treatment in the basement. Areas known to be haunted in the old prison include the old doctor's office, where spirits are known to recount their tales of poor treatment, the old cells where orbs have a habit of appearing in photos near certain names and dates etched into the walls, but the worst is the tension and cold felt in the basement where so many endured horrors and met their end. Nowadays, folks can get a feel of the life, behind its real prison bars thanks to the escape room on site. Prisoners are locked in the lower jail block cell and have to use puzzle-solving tactics in order to break out. And like most game rooms, they have 60 minutes to escape. Good luck! Number 1, Shepton Mallet Prison. So this prison is widely recognized as the most haunted prison in the world, and one of the most haunted locations in the UK. It was built in 1610 and became known as the oldest prison in the United Kingdom. Behind its walls, prisoners would frequently die of illnesses because medical treatment was sadly overlooked. Death sentences were frequently carried out, with the latest happening in 1945 under the direct order of the military. So it didn't actually close until 2013, so I think it's the most recently converted location on our list today. In the 1970s, the Home Office was requested to investigate some strange happenings in one of the wings. An increase in prisoners requesting additional bedding due to cold draught was becoming an issue, and the occasional smell of sweet perfume would waft around the prison. Prisoners were becoming uncomfortable in their cells, and officers started to refuse working the night shifts. So the office carried out a 3-day investigation, and the results remained inconclusive. As the years passed, new reports were coming in that the draughts would continue, as would the smell of sweet perfume. Some night officers would report seeing shadows and white figures standing on the stairs. The story of the White Lady was revealed after some research. So she had killed her husband and was brought to the prison for her final days before meeting her end in the town center. The night before her execution, she was offered her final request and asked to wear her wedding dress. The morning of her execution, the door to her cell swung open, and to the surprise of the officers, her lifeless body laid on the bed, dressed in the gown. No marks were found, and it was concluded that she must have died of a broken heart. She is said to still wander the wings and has been reported to be seen on multiple occasions. And if she isn't seen, the smell of a sweet perfume has been reported to linger in the prison wing. So the prison now advertises the escape room as a team building behind bars, where visitors learn the full details of the corrupt events that happened within the prison walls and then try their hand at escaping themselves. Yeah, no thanks. And that brings us to the end of our time, and a hard pass on actually haunted escape rooms, thanks. I'll stick to whimsical ones with lower stress. If y'all enjoyed my chaos today, could you help us out by giving this video a like, subscribing if you aren't already, hitting the bell for more haunted content from us here at Top 5 Scary Videos, and I'll see y'all next time, you lovely spooky people.